Good morning to our respected ma'am principal, supervisors, teachers, and friends. Welcome to our virtual Lincoln House Assembly. I'm Basha.
And I am Tristan. We are going to be the MCs for today's assembly. This year, we'll be celebrating Abraham Lincoln's 212th birthday virtually from our home.
But before we begin, let's all pray together. Let's pray together. Holy God, kind God, you give me another day. I thank you for this gift of life. I come to you, and my life is but a journey towards you. I offer you my every thought and deed, all my conversation and silence, all my work and struggle, all that makes me happy, and all that is difficult for me. Show me what is right and what is evil, so that I may not err. I would gladly do what you command. I would bear happily what you lay upon my shoulders. I will work willingly. Enlighten me with your light, strengthen me with your power, keep me in your joy. Now, O God, I go from your light. Your joy pours into my day's work. Let my life be a light. Amen. Now, let's enjoy a skit which will be presented by the students of grade 6.
On the occasion of the Lincoln House Assembly, we present to you a skit that showcases two incidents from the life of Abraham Lincoln. The first set is in a courtroom. The Lincoln was a lawyer. And the second set is in the White House. The Lincoln was the president. There's a message in it for everyone. In Act 1, we have Nicholas Coe as Abraham Lincoln, Stephanie as the judge, Zara as the witness, myself as the prosecuting attorney, Anya as the prisoner, and Dante as the foreman. Act 1. Set in a courtroom. The prisoner, the jury, witnesses, attorneys, and others, including the prisoner's mother, are all present.
You may continue your examination of the witness.
You say that you saw Armstrong commit the murder.
I did.
At what time did it happen?
11 at night.
How could you see at that hour of the night?
The moon was shining.
Just how large was the moon?
About full.
Were there any clouds in the sky?
No. The no. The sky was perfectly clear and it was almost as light as day.
You are sure of that?
Yes, perfectly sure.
What was the date of the murder?
August 12th.
The almanac shows that there was no moon that night. 2 days later, there was a new moon.
That must be a mistake.
Order in the court.
A man who sees a moon when there is no moon is not a reliable witness. That is all, Your Honor.
We have heard all the evidence. We will now listen to the plea of the prosecuting attorney.
Your Honor and gentlemen of the court, till the evidence has been, for most part, circumstantial, the crime is shocking, the character of the prisoner is not good, and associates are evil. That should be sufficient.
We will now listen to the plea of the counsel for the defendant.
Your Honor and gentlemen of the jury, it is unnecessary to say anything further in defense of the prisoner. He did not commit the crime, and the evidence of the only eyewitness declares that he saw the murder in the moonlight when there was no moon.
Order in the court. Have you anything further to say?
Nothing, Your Honor, except that I am not guilty.
The injury has heard all the evidence, and you will now withdraw to prepare the verdict. Remember to weigh each point carefully.
Yeah.
will now listen to the verdict of the jury.
Not guilty, Your Honor, by unanimous vote.
The case is dismissed, and the prisoner is free.
Thank you, and that is the end of the first act.
In Act 2, we have a skit based on an incident from the life of Abraham Lincoln when he was the President of the USA. The actors are as follows: Stephanie as Abraham Lincoln, Anya as the secretary, Dante as the old man. Set in the office of the President of the United States at Washington, Lincoln is sitting before a table strewn with papers. He is reading a dispatch and rumpling his hair in perplexity.
I wish this cruel war will be brought to an end. So many brave men have been killed on both sides, but the Union must be preserved, and the slaves must be freed.
An old man wants to see you. Shall I dismiss him? He must be tired after this long days of work.
What time is it?
Nearly 11 o'clock.
What does the old man want?
He will not tell, but he seems to be in great distress, and is sweating.
I could spend a sleepless night if I turned away one in distress. Send him in, and I will find out his errand.
Secretary goes out. Lincoln busies himself with the papers before him. The secretary returns with a bent and feeble old man.
Sit down and tell me what I can do for you.
Mr. President, I have come to ask you to pardon my only son.
What has he done?
He slept at his post and he is to be shot at sunrise.
How old is he?
18, and he has always been a good boy. He enlisted for the love of his country.
Sleeping at one's post is a grave offense. If a night attack should be made by the enemy, it might mean death to a whole regiment.
He was so worn out that he fell asleep standing up. They found him leaning against a tree.
That is an unusual case. He did not lie down?
He would have died first.
I am so sorry for you, but I do not see how I can do anything for him. Hear what? General Butler has telegraphed to me. President Lincoln, I pray you to not interfere with the court martial or marshals of the army. You will destroy all discipline among our soldiers. Now you see how the matter stands.
His mother is ill, and the shock will kill her. Wouldn't you be willing to let me die for the boy? Say yes, Mr. President. I will gladly take his place.
No, I could not do that. Did I say that?
Ma'am, I still need to write. He thinks for a moment, then gets up and walks across the floor.
Butler or no butler, I will pardon your boy. Give my secretary his name and regiment too. To the secretary. That the lad is not to be shot without further orders from the president. If your son does not die until orders come from me to shoot him, he will live to be much older than Methuselah.
All that I can say is God bless you. God bless you.
Now I can go to bed content. Well, when I think how happy the mere signing of my name will make that boy's mother.
Thank you and have a nice
Thank
day.
you and have a
Thank you and
nice
have a nice
Thank you
day.
and have a nice day.
Thank you, grade 6. Now we will hear a narration from the students of grade 7.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi, Luna and TJ. Okay, so we are just waiting for Evan to pick us up. After we go to immigration, then we are hoping that Evan will pick us up and discuss the essence of this tour. Are you excited?
Very.
Very excited. Okay, and then Evan is giving us this flyby tour, a mixture of being in those areas and virtual flyby. Imagine we are in a drone or something, taking a tour of this uh, life of Lincoln. We are considered Lincoln tourists now for the sake of the school, and we are hopefully gonna learn things related to Abraham Lincoln. So we're gonna do that. So we are going to immigration, and we are being picked up by Evan and his mobile or his car. So get ready. Okay.
Hey sir, Luna, TJ, welcome to the USA.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for having us. And yeah, you can join with each other now. I think I'll just be your guardian. Thank you very much for having us or being the host. It has been a long travel time to get from Bali to here to Kentucky, and
We traveled 23 hours to do
in
this.
3 hours got some transit. But okay, so how long have you been here in Kentucky, Evan?
I've been here for 5 days, maybe, almost about a week,
Oh, okay.
going
Wow.
to visit around
And then you are normally living in where? In which state is it?
in Indiana.
Indiana. Okay. Very great to know. So imagine the long travel, and good thing there are discount flights now because of the pandemic. So I believe TJ and Luna has been happy that they're allowed by their parents to buy this ticket and then go to Kentucky. Are you excited, Luna, TJ?
Yes,
Is it your first time to be in the US?
second time.
Second, okay. And the first time is somewhere not related to Lincoln, isn't it? Some other places, some other states.
Now it's California.
California, okay, great. How about Luna?
I've only been to Colorado.
Oh, okay, Colorado. Very nice. So let's enjoy this flyby then. First time to be in Kentucky. Okay. So I'll just let Evan do the introduction to his second hometown, perhaps. Thank you for welcoming us in Kentucky. This is the start of the flyby tour. This is the place where we are trying to commemorate or think or have the memory or flashback of Abraham Lincoln's life and his contributions, things like that. Okay. I haven't yet seen these places anyway. Maybe you also, because we have been in other states, or we're normally going in other states. Maybe Disneyland, maybe Broadway, but not this place. So hopefully we enjoy it. So yeah, TJ, anything else?
I have a question.
Yeah, okay.
Where do we go first?
Yeah, okay. I think Evan has the itinerary. Evan has the program.
To Kentucky, just quickly.
Okay, now we're flying by here. So isn't this the commemorative museum in Sinking Spring Falls, Larue County? Is this the place where he was born? Is it? Okay, maybe you can take a
It wasn't
photo.
the place where he was born. He was born in Indiana, but I'm sure it was the place where he was buried.
Okay, good to know that. Quite interesting. And then, yeah, you can take a photo if you want. You can roam around the area and then feel the environment where Abraham Lincoln may have had started his life, living with his parents, of course, being nurtured by his mom that was sickly, and also a father that's quite busy in agricultural work. So feel the vibe. Okay. So the flyby is moving now. So yeah, Evan, you can. What are we expecting here in Indiana?
In Indiana, we're expecting to go across where he was born, where he stayed at, where he grew up, just imagining his life or situation there.
Very good, very great. Okay, Luna and TJ seems quiet. Why is it quiet? Are you enjoying the scenery? You want to ride,
I'm just looking around,
looking around.
enjoying the view.
You want to ride this carriage of horses or feel the old vibe of Indiana where it's the common way of transportation by people like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so enjoy. And then I think Evan will just keep on talking and discussing certain things about Indiana, perhaps. I think the flyby is moving us in a while. Oh,
We also have to.
we've been brought here. Where is this? What is this about?
This is Abraham Lincoln's log cabin where he lived. Being a child of someone who worked as a farmer or carpenter, he usually had like a cabin in the woods to go farm.
Oh, so it's like his early life, do you mean?
Yes. And then having his mother die at a young age, also working earlier, may have led him to push for changes to reform for the greater society.
Okay, quite interesting to know. But then Luna or TJ, what can you tell or what?
That's interesting to know.
Okay, how about Luna? Any feelings or any thoughts about those life experiences
That
of
someone,
Abraham Lincoln?
yeah, it's just like, I mean, everyone could start life as a normal person and become so famous and well known. It's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Okay, why crazy? Or hearing about the sad life, maybe? That's why you said it's crazy. Like fathers working different jobs or the mom has died early. What do you think could it lead Lincoln to what he did for the country? Could it be connected? Any thoughts, like TJ or even Evan or Evan, our tour
It's
guide?
hard to believe that a normal man can free slavery.
Okay, just by being in this flyby, right? It's like you imagine instead of
Yeah.
continuing to work as a farmer, maybe we didn't lead a similar life. We are just common middle class people. You go to school. I'm just working as a teacher, but in his case, farming, carpentry, mother dying of a disease in the old times, maybe it's given him a really hard life, isn't it? And then exposed to these conditions, maybe he may have thought, okay, when I grew up, I'll try to help people in similar situations be freed from this situation, from this unfortunate events happening in their lives. You making sense of that in this flyby?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wait a few seconds or a few moments. Maybe you have your quick snack or your quick drink, and then I think we are moving somewhere else in a while. Evan has prepared for us in the flyby. I think in the brochure it says we are moving away from this
Oh
state.
yeah.
So Evan might be telling something of, oh, now we are being brought to the state of Nebraska.
To
What is
Nebraska.
it, Evan? Okay. So what about Nebraska? What do we expect here, Evan? You are spending too much for us. Thank you very much for the hospitality. It's the third state
So
now. Okay.
let me go read on my phone what it says. It reads that on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people were of all shall then be in rebellion against the United States shall be then thenceforward and forever free, and the executive government of the United States, including military and naval authority thereof, will recognize any maintain of freedom such persons, and will do not act nor acts to repress such persons or any of them in an effort they may take for the freedom. The proclamation provided the legal framework of incapitation of nearly 4 million slaves as the Union armies advanced.
Well, that's interesting to know.
It's a very interesting, a recent history of the US. But it's just it's quite far from now. I don't know. Do you experience slavery in your countries, in Australia, TJ, or Luna in
No.
Bali? Maybe now it's not happening anymore. Maybe this is the modern times, and it was started to be thought of reformed, of being reformed or being changed by Abraham Lincoln, and then other allied or other uh, countries that are friends with them maybe have followed suit or maybe have tried to emulate the freedom, the freedom from the bondage of slavery in the United States, which is not even the same number of states that they have now. It was divided before, but then they tried to get united, and eventually they won the fight against those slavery. It was abolished by, yeah, according to Evan, Abraham Lincoln. He started signing and the document, or he started negotiations with the people involved in politics of it. Okay. So it's proclamation number 95, right, Evan?
Yep.
So you think maybe it happened also in our country, right? But it was maybe there are other similar situations in our country, but it's good to know that in the US it's like you are seeing here the monument to Abraham Lincoln with the people's commemoration of such victorious and such heroic and such freeing act. Yeah. Did you enjoy this flyby in this Nebraska suburb?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
Okay, enjoying it, right?
super fun.
So what's
That's the end of our tour.
that's the
We
end of our
can
tour.
go in,
It's a
yep,
very quick
but we
flyby, isn't it? But maybe there are other
yeah.
things, last things to do for tourists like us.
We could go get some souvenirs in the gift shop.
Okay, we are given these choices. Would you want to buy from the hat shop or from the house of stamps nearby or from both or anything else?
I think we should buy souvenirs related to Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. so that when we look in the stamps, when we put it in the envelopes, or when we wear this hat, apart from making it a costume, you will remember that he has done this for his country and emulated by the entire world. So, any other thoughts, Evan or TJ or Luna, about this flyby tour? Did you enjoy
I
it?
enjoyed this tour.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
And thank you very much for Evan's hospitality, for doing it for free. I mean, we paid for the ticket and the flyby drone or something, but then we enjoyed. So we'll see later. We'll meet each other again later back in GMIS Bali. So thank you very much. And yeah,
Yep.
we'll look for some other tours related to this or some other events. Thank you very much to the Tourism Council also. And thank you for each of us joining it. I believe we all enjoyed it.
Thank you, Grade 7. Now we will be hearing a poem recital by the students of Grade 8.
Hello, my name is Rebecca from Grade 8A, and I will be reading the poem Abraham Lincoln, the Freedom Fighter. A century ago you left. Your name is always remembered in the long history of the world. Your struggle for the world peace. You abolished slavery. Give freedom to people. Your name is always admired and used as a role model. Give glory to the world for all time, a priceless treasure, to provoke nations' leaders to appear in the world era. Thank you.
Abraham Lincoln, pejuang kebebasan. Seabad silam engkau pergi, namamu selalu dikenang dalam sejarah panjang dunia. Perjuanganmu tak kalah menjemput perdamaian dunia. Engkau menghapuskan perbudakan, memberi nilai bebas kepada insan manusia. Namamu selalu melekat dan dijadikan panutan, memberi kejayaan dunia sepanjang masa. Harta yang tak ternilai harganya, menjadi pemicu pemimpin bangsa untuk tampil di era dunia. Kasih.
Abraham Lincoln became the United States' 16th president in 1861, issuing the Emancipation Proclamation that declared forever free those slaves within the Confederacy in 1863. Lincoln is most famous for leading the country during the American Civil War. His leadership in the North helped the country to remain strong and defeat the South, keeping the country united. He also pushed for the freedom of all slaves throughout the nation. Few presidents are hailed for their leadership skills as much and as often as Abraham Lincoln. Here are some Abraham Lincoln quotes on leadership that are as relevant today as they were over 150 years ago. First, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Second, my concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. Third, be with the leader when he is right. Stay with him when he is still right, but leave him when he is wrong. Last, you cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves.
Thank you, Grade 8. Now we will be hearing a speech from the students of Grade 9.
I will be reading Abraham Lincoln's best speech in November 19, 1863. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on the great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live.
It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will learn no longer remembering what we say here, but we can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these on our dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leon, and today I'm going to talk about Abraham Lincoln's political career. Let's start. When Lincoln first entered politics, Andrew Jackson was president. Lincoln shared the sympathies that Jackson professed for the common man, but he disagreed with the Jacksonian view that the government should be divorced from economic enterprise. Among the prominent politicians of this time, he mostly admired Henry Clay and Daniel Webster. Lincoln devoted himself to a grandiose project for construction with state funds, a network of railroads, highways, and canals. While in this legislature, he demonstrated that though opposed to slavery, he was no abolitionist. In 1837, in response to the mob murder of Elijah Lovejoy, an anti-slavery newspaperman, the legislature introduced resolutions commending abolitionist societies and defending slavery in the southern states as sacred by virtue of the federal constitution. Lincoln refused to vote for their resolutions, and with the help of a member, he protested against slavery. He proposed a bill for the gradual compensated emancipation of enslaved people in the District of Columbia. But because it was to take effect only with the approval of the free white citizens of the district, it displeased abolitionists as well as slaveholders and never was seriously considered. At the age of 40, frustrated in politics, he seemed to be at the end of his public career. For about 5 years, Lincoln took little part in politics, and the new sectional crisis gave him a chance to reemerge and rise to statesmanship. In 1854, his political rival Stephen A. Douglas, Lincoln challenged the incumbent Douglas for the Senate seat in 1858, and a series of debates they engaged in throughout Illinois with political oratory for the highest order. In the end, Lincoln lost the election to Douglas. Although the outcome did not surprise him, it depressed him deeply. On May 1860, Lincoln was elected president. Soon after his election, a civil war erupted against the Confederate States, which included South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee, and North Carolina. As a war leader, Lincoln employed the style that had served him as politician, descriptive of himself, accidentally, that he was not ashamed to accept it. He put George B. McClellan in charge of the armies as a whole. After a few months disgusted by the slowness of McClellan, he demoted him to the command of the Army of Potomac. Then he tried a succession of commanders for the Army of Virginia: John Pope McClellan again, Ambrose E. Burnside, Joseph Hooker, and George Gordon Midday, but disappointed with each of them in return. In March 1864, Lincoln promoted Grant to lieutenant general and gave him command of all federal armies. Thus, Lincoln had found a man with such subordinates as William T. Sherman, Philip Sheardon and George H. Thomas could put up into effect those parts of Lincoln concept of a large-scale, coordinated offense that still remained to be carried out. Grant was only a member, though an important one, on top of command arrangement that Lincoln eventually had devised. Overseeing everything was Lincoln himself, the commander-in-chief. Taking the responsibility for men and supplies was Secretary of War Stanton. Serving as a presidential advisor and as a liaison with military men was Halleck, the chief of staff. He combined statecraft and overall direction of armies with an effectiveness that increased year by year. To win the war, President Lincoln had to have popular support. The reunion of North and South required. Lincoln faced the task of attracting to his administration and support of as many divergent groups and individuals as possible. On May 9, 1865, Lincoln and Republicans won the Civil War. On the evening of April 14, 1865, 26-year-old John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in Ford's Theater in Washington.
Thank you, Grade 9. Now let's have the students of Grade 11 to conduct a quiz on Abraham Lincoln.
Good morning, people of Lincoln House. Today we are going to be conducting a quiz about Abraham Lincoln. Okay, the first question, who was Abraham Lincoln? Does anybody know?
He was the President of the United States.
Oh, correct. In fact, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States.
Ah, I wasn't sure about the number.
So in which US state was Lincoln born?
I think Lincoln was born in Kentucky?
Yes, correct.
I think so.
Yeah, near
He was born in Kentucky near
I think I heard that
Hodgenville.
somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm. What was Abraham Lincoln's most significant acts as president? We must have looked
Wasn't
in our
he
history
the
books.
commander-in-chief during the Civil War? He wrote the Emancipation, as Wilma said. And one more, I can't think.
I think he presented in Gettysburg Address, right?
Oh, yes.
That's what it was.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was a commander-in-chief of the Civil War. He wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and he presented the Gettysburg Address. What was Abraham Lincoln fighting for as president?
Abolishing slavery.
Correct.
And
Abraham Lincoln was fighting for the Union to abolish slavery, constitution, and representative democracy, which is government by the people and for the people. Now the next question. During which war was the President Lincoln in office?
The Civil War.
The Civil War.
Yeah,
World War II.
Correct. It was the Civil War.
Oh.
During which years was Lincoln president? When did the Civil War
the
happen?
1860s, somewhere around there, 1860s. Anyone know?
1861 till
Until?
That's a 4-year term, right? So
There's 4 years, so 65.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
He was president from 1861 to 1865. Now the next question. What was it that made Abraham Lincoln succeed and become president? Maybe his most known traits?
Hardworking.
Correct. There's
truthful.
more. Yes, he was truthful.
And
What
he was
else?
also disciplined.
Correct. Everyone trusted Abe Lincoln and they never doubted him. He was very disciplined and was self-educated. He had become a lawyer through his self-study. He was very hardworking and ambitious. He held strong opinions and beliefs and became a very good public speaker. Be like Abe Lincoln. Now the next question. Do you know who killed Abraham Lincoln and do you know how?
John Wilkes Booth.
Jonathan?
And it was a gunshot.
John Wilkes
gun.
Booth.
Mhm.
Yes.
Definitely a gunshot. The name, the person.
Booth.
He was killed by the famous actor John Wilkes Booth, who was a very strong Southerner, on April 15th, 1865, with a gunshot to the head.
I didn't know he was an actor.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was
I knew
very
that in like.
Oh wait, I heard a fact that I think John Wilkes Booth, I think, saved Lincoln's son, or something similar to that.
Ooh,
I knew he was like watching a show or something. So
Yeah.
Like in opera.
Now it comes the leading question. Where was Abraham Lincoln assassinated?
Ford Theater.
Correct. He was
Like the car.
assassinated in Ford's Theater. But most importantly, what was he watching in Ford's Theater? Yes, that will come later on in the quiz. When he was fatally shot, Lincoln was at Ford's Theater watching which play?
Ooh, this one's hard.
Our American Cousin.
Correct.
My favorite movie.
Yeah, I used to study it.
Our American
Very good.
Cousin. Lincoln, an avid theater goer whose favorite play was reportedly Macbeth, was watching a comedy by Tom Taylor called Our American Cousin when he was shot by John Wilkes Booth. On which coin did Lincoln's face appear on and when?
A penny. I don't know when.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
what's
was a
that penny?
I
When,
can't
I
remember.
think it was the
59.
1900s.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure about the last digit.
His face appeared on the penny first
Oh.
time, showing up on a coin in 1909.
Oh, 9. That'd be later.
That was long back.
So.
Now the next question. Which US agency did Lincoln create mere hours before his death?
Secret Service.
Yes. Lincoln created the US
okay.
Secret Service. The organization was part of the Treasury Department and it was originally tasked with finding counterfeiters. What was Lincoln's most popular nickname?
Was it something like Truthful Abe?
That's very close, but they called him Honest Abe.
Oh, good.
Honest Abe was a nickname that Abraham Lincoln embraced with pride. He believed in his own integrity and worked diligently to maintain his reputation as an honest politician and lawyer, something that was not always easy in either of those fields. Who was Lincoln's vice president during his first term?
Someone with the back name Hamlet.
Yes, that is
It was
correct.
like H.
Hannibal H.
It was Hannibal Hamlin. Hannibal Hamlin, the main politician, was replaced by Andrew Johnson on the 1864 ticket. That is an additional fact. Name 3 jobs that Lincoln had before his presidency.
He was a lawyer.
Yes, lawyer was one of them.
He was a military
Captain
captain.
of something?
Yes, military captain.
I think the last one was a postman, right?
Correct. He was a postman.
Whoa.
Lincoln was a lawyer, a postman, and a military captain. He was also a well-accomplished wrestler, having his name placed in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Whoa. Okay.
Strong man.
And that concludes our quiz. I hope we all had fun learning about Lincoln.
Thank
Yay! Thank you, Melvin.
That was fun.
Thank you, students of grade 11. Now we will have the thought of the day by Basha.
The thought of the day is, the best way to predict the future is to create it, by Abraham Lincoln. Now, I would like to invite Ma'am Principal to share her words of wisdom.
Good morning, boys and girls. I would like to congratulate all the housemates of Lincoln House for making an effort to prepare an online assembly on the birth anniversary of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, a great politician, a profound socialist, and a great thinker, led America through the most difficult times of the country during the Civil War. He abolished slavery from the nation. Students, I would like to assert here that your house has been named after this great man because he was not only a name or a man. Abraham Lincoln is symbol of perseverance, patience, and hard work. He stood against all odds and believed that what is correct must be supported. The world today is going through a rough patch, and we all have to choose at various points in life what is right and what is wrong. During this pandemic, some of us may be tempted to avoid the protocols of COVID-19 or not meet deadlines or switch off camera when your parents and teachers are asking you to put it on. During such circumstances, you must practice what Lincoln must have struggled with to choose between right and wrong. Believe me, if you do it, taking decisions will be much easier. Students, once again, many congratulations to you for this assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Principal. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who have attended our assembly today. I, on behalf of the House, would also like to express our gratitude towards Ma'am Principal for sharing her words of wisdom. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to the supervisors, coordinators, teachers, and the students for your time and for selecting us as the office bearers. I appreciate the effort taken by all the House teachers and members to make this assembly happen. I would like to conclude this assembly with an end note to practice, liberate the words, deeds, and thoughts from the slavery of evils and negativity. Thank you all and hope you have a great day.
Thank you very much.